Hello and welcome to another edition of the FPL 6 Picks contest, where every game week myself and FPL Lens go head to head and run through our top picks across 6 distinct categories, backed up with stats, fixture analysis and tweets from the FPL community. Anyone can take part by entering their own 6 picks via the link in the video description before the game week deadline. The FPL points scored by your 6 picks equals your total score. And best of all, we are offering up a $10 Bitcoin prize to the game week winner. Join us both every week as we chat about everything FPL related, and we want to hear from you, so please don't hesitate to drop a comment if you have any questions, concerns, or decisions to make with your own FPL teams. Alright, Game Week 13 contest, here we go. Short turnaround, deadline is Tuesday at 4:30 GMT, and we are back to give you guys our 6 picks for this week. This is a game week by game week contest. You choose 6 FPL players across 6 distinct categories. Your FPL points scored for the game week equals your total score. You can enter below. There's a link in the description, or you can enter in the YouTube comments. And there's a prize for the game week winner of $10 of Bitcoin. Before we go any further, let's take a look at the results for game week 12. There we go. It's a running battle between myself and FPL Lens Gabriel over there. It's 3-1 after my latest. Well, you've had a shocker right there, buddy, unfortunately. And there's 2 big fat zeros over on the right-hand side of the screen. One is self-explanatory. It's a non-starter in Pulisic, but Aubameyang. I mean, at least he's in your gut feeling pick. And nowhere else, so we'll let you away with that one.
I guess, yeah, as long as he's not in my head, right? It's just in my gut. It's okay for the gut to be wrong, but when the head is wrong, yes, you gotta get it checked. And Pulisic, I thought with the injuries at Chelsea, I didn't realize, although I should have maybe, that he's injured himself with his the rubber band hamstrings that constantly break on him, unfortunately. Poor guy. But these weeks happen, don't they? You just have to pick up the pieces and come back stronger next week. But on your side, on your side, I mean, obviously the standout is, of course, James Justin, highest points getter. Aside from the double, Salah scored 8, so you double it to 16. Those are 11 points from James Justin. When you hit on James Justin, that's a good feeling.
Yeah, it is. And he's also a member of my current FPL team, so doubly good. It was a great start as well in the opening fixture, West Ham against Leeds. We both came away with an assist each. Bamford got his within minutes, and I was thinking, okay, here we go. Patrick Bamford with another mega haul. But yes, Bowen got his corner kick for the header to get an assist. So it was a nice start to our picks. In trend with how the game week went for a lot of managers, it was a low scoring average of around 50, and it was the same in the 6 picks contest for game week 12. Weren't too many high scores out there like we're used to, but yeah, we had some luck there. We had some returns. Well, one return in your case. 39 to 15. I'm gonna just do you a favor, and we're gonna move swiftly on from this, and we're gonna get stuck into the picks contest for game week 13. As I said, guys, you can enter through the YouTube comments below. Check out the pinned tweet for details, or you can hit on the Google form in the description to enter $10 of Bitcoin for the winner. I will announce the winner of game week 12 overall in a few minutes' time. We'll just go through some of our picks categories for game week 13. Premium category is first. In this one, you can choose a goalkeeper or a defender costing 5.5 or more, or you can go for a midfielder or forward costing 8 million or more. So we're concentrating on the premium, expensive FPL assets in this category. 1 player pick per club team. It's a constant rule throughout the 6 categories. And revealing who we've gone for. Okay, we got Bruno Fernandes and we got Jamie Vardy. One being a very standout performer from previous game week. The other, well, Bruno had a tough Man City derby to contend with. But yeah, speak to me about Vardy. I mean, yeah, he's as kind of a lot of people thought, he was sleeping for the last few game weeks. Just a couple of returns here and there, never exploded, but he really did deliver in style in game week 12 for FPL managers.
He really did, and he delivered the kind of style that I was hoping he'd deliver a few game weeks ago when I brought him in on my wild card. course, I had to sell him because the price changes, and now he hauls. So I'm gonna go, mend my broken heart with Vardy and hopefully catch him on his streak here. But I like the kind of the counterbalance of these two picks. One is very much tried and true. You know what you get with Bruno on pens, pretty consistent, especially in certain games here. Pardon me. And then Vardy, very much a streaky player. When he's starting to hit, he really flies. So I'm hoping I can catch a little bit of that Vardy party this week if he keeps doing what he did this past weekend. So that's the hope with Vardy. What do you see in Bruno?
Well, it's the standout fixture of the week. It's Sheffield United, and you would think at home, but for United and Bruno especially, the away fixtures have really been kind to him so far this season. 10.9 million, so he's not cheap to acquire, but he's worth it for this fixture alone. I mean, if you look at his season history, I've highlighted here in circling red, is every away performance so far. Game week 3, 12 points. Game week 5, away to Newcastle, 11 points. Everton away in game week 8 was 17 points, his highest score of the season. And then in game week 10 and 11 came 10 points and 6 points. So he's returned in every away match so far. He's returned double-digit hauls in all but one. And that was the West Ham away game where he only played 45 minutes. So really, it's look, I was kind of weighing up whether to put him into captaincy this week, but I've gone for someone else who I'll reveal later. But Bruno for me is probably the premium player to own this game week.
Yeah, and if you look at his performance per 90, he has delivered double digits every away game per 90. If you're looking at per 90 stats, which is it's ridiculous. I can't explain it. I don't know. I don't really see a different style or different type of opponent. They've played all sorts of types of opponent. They played deep blocks. They played high pressing teams. He just does it.
Yeah, I can't pinpoint it either through looking at stats or trawling through evidence of what's happened. But you could, if you see 5 in a row like that, you have to think there's something to it. So let's see if it's set to continue. Right, let's move on to the differential category. In this one, you can choose a player, but they have to be under 10% team selected by. So low ownership players at time of entry. So in this category, I've gone for Neil Maupay this week, and you have punted for Raheem Sterling. And I seem to talk about this every week. 4.1% ownership. That's crazy to me, but justified based on the fact that he hasn't exploded yet. I know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's tell me, I'm curious about Neil Maupay. This one was a big surprise for me. Tell me why you went in this direction.
2.2% ownership, 6.1. This is one of my puntier picks, I have to admit. I mean, I've shared a little bit of information here. It's a table from fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, and I've also circled in red his XGI involvement. It's been pretty bad, to be honest, since the start of the season. He has an expected goals haul of 6.46. He's only had 4, and then his XGI is delta is minus 2.14. So really falling back there. Now that includes a missed penalty, of course. So that is always going to be high on that side. How do I explain it? Sometimes I like to look at the fixtures and look at a player who has a lot going for him. He is, when fit, a regular starter. He is on penalties, hopefully still. And he is playing away to Fulham. Now, Fulham have not been whipping boys by any means lately. They've actually been really, really solid and impressive. But Fulham away, Sheffield United home, West Ham away in the next 3. And at 6.1, provided that you already have someone like a Bamford, DCL, like if you're looking for that third striker, maybe someone who has a wild card in game week 16, I think it's a worthwhile punt for a few game weeks to see if Maupay can play himself into form. That's all I can say on that. I don't have anything solid on that one. Just a little bit of gut feel and a little bit of fixtures might turn it around for him.
What I like about this pick is, last week I kind of went big, kind of all in on Pascal Gross. and like all across the board in the side contests of FPL. And it turns out that then Graham Potter comes and he moves Pascal Gross back to defensive mid and sticks Neil Maupay at that attacking mid where Pascal Gross had been the past month or so. And if Pascal Gross got good stats from that position, I think Neil Maupay will do quite well there as well. So I think that's a really sneaky Pascal Gross subverting pick. I like it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, Lamptey was injured last game week, so a little bit of reshuffling, of course. I think he's back. He's been training, so they might opt for something more predictable based on how they've played so far this season. Graham Potter and Brighton. West Brom at home then for Sterling. I guess it's all about the fixture here, right?
It's all about the fixture, and it's all about time played in, say, in the past 3 game weeks or 5 game weeks or something like that. And this is where I wrote in my notes, so this is a bit of a strategic pick for the 6 picks. I had a feeling, or I have a feeling, that you would be kind of directed towards Kevin De Bruyne, and I know I have some ground to make up. And I have a sneaky suspicion that Kevin De Bruyne could be rested. I think it's possible this game week he's rested. Phil Foden could play in that role, or he's got a ton of options on the bench. But Sterling was rested 2 game weeks ago. So I think he's as much of a lock as you can say anyone is a lock in a Pep system. And you know, 4.1, team selected by 4.1%. So I figure he could be a differential in the sense that you won't select him. So in that sense, it's a bit of strategy, bit of gamesmanship, trying to make up some ground here.
Bit of second guessing, but you're also scaring 27% of FPL managers greatly with that statement that De Bruyne is going to get rested.
Actually.
Well, I am soon to be as well, because I am eyeing up De Bruyne for my FPL team this week. But interesting theory. I mean, like, good luck to you trying to figure out Pep's thinking in terms of rotation. I mean, like, look at last week. Salah was played that dead rubber Champions League game, and everyone thought, oh, Fulham, he's obviously going to get rested, but he played. Now, that was then to Jota being injured, etc. So there's a lot of factors at play. Let's see what happens.
And he wasn't good. Salah was not very good in that game. So
doesn't matter when you got pens to your name, when you can pick up FPL points. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Scores on the board is what matters. But yeah, I totally agree. Salah was far from his best. We move on to the budget defense category. Let's do it. Okay, so in this category, you can choose a goalkeeper costing less than 5.5, or you can go for a defender costing less than 5.5 at time of entry. And revealing who we've gone for this week, I've Reece James for me and Yannick Vestergaard for Gabriel. Do you want to talk into Vestergaard? I mean, I like Vestergaard. I really do. I didn't understand why so many people were signing him up after in a game week 5, game week 6, but now it makes sense. He's such a threat in the box.
He really is. I was confused as well. You know, I saw, you know, I think Vestergaard's price started at 4.5, and when I saw him increasing, I couldn't understand it. And then I realized he's the Kurt Zuma of Southampton. He's such a monster. And I just see Arsenal lacking confidence, and that lacking confidence could make them a little timid. It has historically, especially in central defense. I could see Vestergaard kind of come in, even though Arsenal have not conceded many headers or headed chances. I can see Vestergaard just riding his confidence and his kind of superior physical ability into a headed goal here. And then to add to that, Arsenal's attack has just been really tragic. So there's potential for a clean sheet here. And I found it tough. I found this category to be the toughest one of the game week. So
it is a tough one, and the reason why, I agree. I mean, it is a hard one to choose because the obvious clean sheet points, you might look at the Man City defense, but then you're snookering yourself because you've got Man City assets there that you might want to put into like a premium or captaincy category this week with the fixture looking good.
And rotation.
and rotation. Like Cancelo looks great, but is he going to play? You know,
Right.
There's issues everywhere. Kyle Walker's not immune from rotation. Ruben Diaz, anybody. John Stones might be the one who's nailed, to be honest. Even though he's 4.8 million, he's the best. He's been performing the best out of the lot recently. But it's so hard. It's really so hard to find a constant
Tell me
presence
about
in
Reece
that defense.
James up against a deep block in Wolves.
Oh, forget about the deep block. It's all about his stats from the last 4 game weeks. 18% team selected by, 5.3 million. So he's still there. Well, he had his huge haul in game week 1, and everyone thought, okay, there we go. He's a season keeper. But then rotation came early days. He was left out of the starting lineup for a couple of the early game weeks. Threw a lot of people off him. The last 4 game weeks, though, he's top for shots amongst defenders with 6. I know he hit the woodwork last game week, unlucky not to get a goal there. And he's also created 5 chances in the last 4 game weeks, so he's right up there in terms of chance creation too. And he's just a seriously good player. And I feel like it's regardless of the opposition and their tactics, he can whip a ball in and get assists. And he's got it's coming, like another haul is coming soon. It's just very hard to time it right, and it could be this week away to Wolves.
One more question about Reece James, because I started the season with him and I loved having him, and I regret not keeping him in my squad. Do you think there's a chance of this is kind of like going to be the theme of the next month or so? Is there a chance of rotation for him?
I think there's a chance of rotation for everybody on this list, like everyone we choose, because of the fact that it's there's 3 game weeks in the space of 10 days, and the likes of Chelsea, they don't have any Champions League action. Teams like Europa League teams like Spurs don't have any midweek action, but they're also trying to conserve energy and stay fit, fresh, and focused for the next few game weeks, because in and around the holiday season, you've got the 26th December, and then you've got, I think, the 28th December, and you've basically got another 3 game weeks in the space of 10 days. So now is about just, and of course, Vestergaard probably not, but Reece James could be rested this game week. But there is huge upside to him starting and getting that haul. So see what happens, buddy. It's all part of the game, right? Risk and reward.
Yep.
Right, let's
tell me about risk.
Risk non-reward.
My risk paid off. Exactly.
Yeah, but you're having fun. You're still smiling. That's what it's all about. Right. Budget offense. In this one, you could go for a midfielder or a forward, but they have to cost less than 8 million in FPL. Right. I'm revealing who we've gone for this week. I've gone for Mr. Reliable Patrick Bamford, and you're going for Callum Wilson. I like Callum Wilson. I do.
I'm going with a Cathal pick.
Yeah, it is one of my types of picks, but it's also a versus in the fixture side of things. Newcastle versus Leeds in game week 13. Patrick Bamford. I mean, you've covered him. I think we've had him nearly every week. He's been thereabouts, and his stats are just really impressive. And what else? Have I shared something here? Yeah, I have. I've got something for him. No, I don't. Okay. I mean, Newcastle have conceded a lot of chances through the centre. That's what I'll say about the fixture. I know that they have conceded 53% of their chances through the centre in the last 4 game weeks alone. But broadening the range out to the season, I think it's around 47 to 50% of their chances have been conceded through the centre too. So that bodes well for Bamford playing in a central attacking role, I guess. I mean, he's top for everything: shots in the box, touches in the box, and he's only 6.2 million. So I just like. I haven't chosen him yet in this. I don't think I've chosen him in the first 4. So it's nice to get in the action now. Makes the games a lot more fun to watch with Leeds if you have some sort of FPL asset involved. They're a fun team to watch.
Yeah. Well, it's I'm glad we have our number 9s going head to head here with Bamford and Callum Wilson. What I will say for Callum Wilson is that Leeds over the past 2 game weeks have conceded the most big chances, the highest XG conceded, and they've conceded the most chances from the left side in the last 2 game weeks. Now, Callum Wilson is playing on the right side of a front 2 with Joe Ellington. So he'll be playing centrally, of course, like he always plays, but also a bit on his right, which is Leeds' left. So that's kind of so the team that has been arguably the worst defensively over the past 2 game weeks, Wilson's going right into the weak spot of that defense. So I'm hoping that he can come away with something there.
I think there's a good chance of that happening. That'll be an interesting game. And in terms of chance creation, then Leeds are on the high side, but Newcastle don't create much. In saying that, it hasn't really affected Wilson's output because he's been really clinical this season, and it doesn't take a million chances like Bamford for him to score goals and get FPL points. So interesting matchup right there. Will we reveal the winner for game week 12? It's a familiar face. You're gonna know this person, Gabriel. It's one of our Twitter friends, and it's Jer from the FPL Hangover podcast. So the FPL Hangover podcast with Jer and Seamus is a weekly podcast on Apple and Spotify and all the regular channels. And 44 points scored by Jer. We'll go through it really quickly. Obviously Kane. A lot of people didn't go for Kane or Son this week. I think it's because, well, I don't know why, because they're the top scoring assets in FPL. Us too, we've kind of ghosted them a little bit recently, and perhaps unfairly. Well, evidently so. 9 points for Kane, got the maximum bonus with his goal. In the differential then, Rafinha didn't work out. But then Martinez, another thing we're not doing enough of, we're not focusing on goalkeepers. There's some points to be had there with Martinez with a great performance, his clean sheet, save points and maximum bonus. Wilson in budget offense didn't happen. Ings got his assist on his return, and then Salah obviously for captaincy. So 44 points, low scoring week across the board here in the FPL 6 picks contest. But great win. Great win, Jer. Congratulations. $10 of Bitcoin is on its way to you with your 44 points total.
He almost tripled my score. So,
well, there you go. There's no extra prize money for that, but maybe we could put that one on the table for discussion. You've had a bad one, buddy. But you don't have to. Again, it's a quick turnaround. You don't have to think about it for too much longer, which is good.
That's true. Moving on to the next one.
Yeah. Okay, this is the next category is gut feeling. So 2 more categories left. Gut feeling is next. 1 player pick per club team. You can choose anybody in the game. I try and encourage you to think outside the box and go for someone a little sneaky and different in this one. You don't need any stats or anything to back it up. It's just purely who you feel deep down inside in that FPL brain of yours is going to perform this week. And revealing who we've gone for, you're going to laugh at me, but my Aubameyang pick, and this is a little bit of a take on a recent trend of one of us going for Aubameyang in the gut feeling category, hoping that he'll turn a corner. And I absolutely love Said Benrahma as a pick this week in that category. I really do. I think he's on the verge of becoming a well-owned asset based on his skill and what he displayed in game week 12. And only 0.3% ownership.
That was a big factor for me selecting him. It's like less than 1% ownership. I love it. Watching him this weekend against Leeds was great. He's everywhere, super involved. You can see he's hungry. He's got to settle down a little bit and hit the target a little bit more with his opportunities. But he just looks like a player ready to do something for me.
Yeah, he's exciting to watch. I mean, he gets the ball and he turns and drives at defenders, and you don't know where he's got. He's not predictable at all with his movement. Like, you don't know if he's going to take it to the left or take it to the right. And it's great for us neutrals watching a game. He spices it up a bit, and long may it continue. Aubameyang, I don't know what to say. I mean, it was so
he's got to score sometime in the other goal.
I shared a Squawk of Football tweet, basically just outlining his his miserable campaign so far. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has scored more goals for opposition teams, one, than he has for Arsenal at the Emirates this season. So one of those tipped assets to do well this campaign. It's not happened so far for him, and we're playing on the gut feeling category, and the fact that you can try and catch someone at the right time that doesn't really have anything going for him other than that. So yeah, maybe this week, maybe not. But it'll also sicken you to death if if I catch an Aubameyang haul and you're just coming off the back of a 0-pointer. So that's a little bit of why I've went for him this week. Psych.
Hopefully he blanks, and then it'll be my turn to get him next week. We have to alternate until he scores, I think.
Hey, if he once he doesn't go into negative FPL points, I'm still not losing on you. So that 0 was hard to swallow. All right. We reveal our captaincies. So this is the final category in the 6 picks contest. It's the most important category of all because your asset, just like in regular FPL, scores double points. And having a look at who we've gone for this week, there we go. I knew Bruno was going to pop up again, and rightly so on Gabriel's side. And I've gone for Kevin De Bruyne. 2 really good fixtures this week for both Man City and Man United. Probably Man United leaning the better fixture. What's your thinking with Bruno, apart from the obvious?
Yeah, I mean, and you mentioned Bruno's away form, just ridiculous. But the main thing here, and this is where the 6 picks, after such a shocking week, I went with some gamesmanship here with the 6 picks. I kind of had a feeling you would go, just so everyone knows, we don't know each other's picks before we select. So I'm thinking that Cathal here is going to go for De Bruyne in some kind of category, and I thought it could be this category, captaincy. So Bruno, like I mentioned before, he's played 83% of the minutes in the last 3 matches, whereas De Bruyne has played 100% of those minutes in an easy fixture. I just think Bruno's probably more nailed. Not saying De Bruyne is going to get rotated. If I were to guess, I'd actually guess he's not rotated because of how kind of abject City have been without him. So I think he'll play, but my hope is that Bruno will maybe be a little fresher against this in a slightly better matchup. I can squeak a few points off of you here.
Yeah, it's too late for me to scaremonger you and say that Bruno's going to get rotated, but he's already had his rest, I guess, at home away to West Ham when he didn't start there. But as you said, City have been abject, and I just don't see why Pep would risk rotating his best player when they just haven't been firing at all cylinders. And I definitely think he's going to prioritise the 3 points at home to West Brom, a comfortable 3 points. It might see De Bruyne coming off around the 65th, 70th minute, depending on the score, but hopefully that's enough time for him to get at least one FPL return. And I've always, I'm a big fixtures guy. I always check out the FDR, look 5-6 game weeks ahead. And this run of 3 games, I was never not going to go without Kevin De Bruyne in my FPL team. Again, fixtures rotation can always throw you off, and it's in the lap of the FPL gods and Pep's master plan. But hopefully he gets his 70+ minutes against West Brom and he gets some returns on the board for me. It's going to be tight this week again. Will we have a look at the summary? Actually, before that, I have a tweet to share. So this is just basically on Kevin De Bruyne, and it's quite a simple kind of stats comparison. De Bruyne has the most goal attempts in the last 4 game weeks out of any FPL asset. He has 17. I think actually that's joint with Bamford, so 17 across all assets. And then West Brom have conceded the most goal attempts in the last 4 game weeks with 68. So KDB versus WBA. Looks good. Looks good for him he just hasn't been very clinical with his attempts. He hasn't scored that many goals from open play. Hopefully things will turn in his direction soon if he finds his shooting boots this week.
I think he needs to maybe just like relax a little bit and feather the ball in instead of always. I don't know. He's trying too hard. Maybe it's getting to him. So, but I think when it comes, it's going to come pretty fast and furious for Kevin there once he starts hitting those from the perimeter.
Yeah, I agree. Two very good captains. It's a tight one. I mean, for me, it's a 50-50 call if you own both of these assets in your own FPL team.
Do you own both?
Not yet, but I will soon own Kevin De Bruyne, probably tonight.
And who will you go for? And who will be your captain tomorrow in FPL?
I'm going to go De Bruyne. I am going to favour the home fixture for Man City, and at the upside of him only being 26% owned. I'm a Man United fan, as you know. You'd think I'd be biased towards Bruno, but there's just something irking at me that De Bruyne is going to go heavy, and I'm just going to have to follow that through. But again, Bruno, he's my vice captain, and it could easily have gone that direction. Maybe I'll wake up in the morning and change my mind. I might have some vivid dreams. But yeah, what about you?
So I'm the opposite. Right now, I'm on Bruno. Kevin De Bruyne has the vice captain, and I might wake up in the morning and switch it to Kev. I don't know. It's that close this week. And my captaincy decisions in FPL have not been the greatest this year, so I don't know. I think I'll have to look around for some inspiration.
It is, and I think it was last game week when I just pipped you by 4 points. It was just a reversal of the captaincy decision. We had similar scoring players, but we just you didn't place yours in the right categories, and a lot hinges on your captaincy every single game week. Let's have a look at our summary of our picks. So pretty well spread out there. We always at this stage look at any similar picks. We do have a crossover with Bruno. I've gone for him in premium. You've gone for him in your captaincy. But great variation this week. Yeah,
I like the Callum Wilson versus Bamford matchup there in the same game. That should be fun.
What can I ask you this question?
Yours, yeah.
What player performing well would give you the most joy this week out of your 6?
That's easy. It's almost always the same answer for that. It's the gut feeling player, Said Benrahma.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think Aubameyang would have me smiling ear to ear if he ends up on like a double-digit score in FPL.
I wonder if I'll be happy if I get like this 15 points from Said Benrahma and 0 from all the rest. I would kind of almost tie with what I did last week, but I would be way happier because it was Said Benrahma.
Yeah, going off script a little bit here. It'd be interesting to have like a bad performance category where you chose like a player that was owned by maybe like over 10% of teams, but weren't going to get anything other than their appearance points. We're like destined blank. That would be an interesting.
The trap.
Yeah. So like, your Aubameyang scores 0 points, and you're like, you get like a set 10-point haul for whatever in the 6 picks. That would be a cool one because you could really spot players that are just not worth their ownership in FPL in certain game weeks. Something we should mull over. Think about.
Could be a holiday special.
Could be a holiday special. Yeah. Okay. Well. Let's speaking of the holidays, it's all coming thick and fast in FPL right up until the end of December, and we'll try our best to cycle around these contests and get as much content out to you guys as possible. Always appreciate likes, subscribe, shares, all that stuff, but most importantly, we'd love for you guys to participate and enter in the comments below or through the Google form in the description. So good luck next week, Gabriel. Oh, sorry. Good luck tomorrow.
Good luck to you as well. Tomorrow.
Yeah, and we'll chat soon. Hopefully, we'll squeeze the next contest in before the weekend action. Take care, buddy, and thanks.
See you.
See you guys.
Bye.